Hello, everybody. It's Samira. Welcome back to It's Samira Interviews. Today, I have a long-awaited guest that we've planned for so long to bring on the
Very
channel. He's a vlogger. He's a wrestler. Well, wrestler, as you say, TikToker. You got all the names. You guys know him. It's Jack Tomlinson. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Like you said, I'm glad we're finally doing this. This took a very, very long time. We kind of talked about before we started recording, but I really think we scheduled this at least 4 times prior to this.
Yeah, you guys have no idea. We've tried to plan this for a couple months now, I would say. And every time there was something, but it's all good because we're here now. We're shooting the shot with the interview, and we're here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've seen a bunch of your stuff on Twitter, and I think that's how we first started talking was on Twitter, and then I saw you made some TikToks, which it always is a good thing with me. If you're on TikTok, that's like a bonus with Jack. I don't know why I'm talking about myself in the third person, but it was great. And I saw that. I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And then we started talking more than just about doing a podcast. And we kind of just, I don't remember what we were talking about. It probably was about TikTok and making videos. And I was like, oh, she's really cool. Good conversation. This will be a fun 30 minutes, hour, however long this goes for. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're gonna get into TikTok. In the questions, of course, I have to ask about that because TikTok is so much fun, and I know you're a big TikToker, so I have to.
A bit.
So I have to bring up the whole wrestler thing. How'd you come up with the wrestler vlogger? You just made it into one word.
Yeah, so there was two major things that played into coming up with the Vessler. For starters, not everybody. There is a lot of people that have vlog channels in wrestling, and there's some that are honestly a bit more notable than mine, have more views, whether it's Sammy Guevara or it's the Major Pod vlog channel. They get more views. So how can I make it so that it's my own thing? It's different. How do I make it stand out? So that was the first thing that I kind of went for when I was approaching this, because I had started vlogging before I was wrestling on shows. So vlogging was just a part of me as a person in my daily life. So when it became me as a wrestler, I had to change it. I had to kind of find a way to make it wrestling specific. So that was the first thing. The second thing was I am a sucker, and I will admit this. I am a sucker for romance. I love just love. I love love. And I love when celebrities have these ship names. I just think they're so cute. If you just combine whether it's their first name, their last name. I'm trying to think of one right now, but my mind is not really working for some reason.
Brangelina.
Yes, exactly. I love that stuff. And I was in the shower, which is where I come up with all my best ideas. And I'm just sitting there thinking all right, Vessler. And then somehow it just came together, because when your creative juices just start flowing and you kind of just, it's like you're in a board meeting with yourself, and as opposed to 10 different people shouting out ideas, your own mind is shouting out different ideas. And somehow vlogger and wrestler became a ship name, and I came up with Vessler. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be annoying to have to explain what Vessler means. But if I say I'm the Vessler and people's instant reaction is, what is that? What does that mean? In my mind, I'm already doing something right, because I got them thinking, I got them talking about it. And now I explain it, as opposed to just, hey, I'm Jack and I'm a vlogger. That's 2 seconds out of their life. It's, hey, I'm Jack the Vessler. What's a Vessler? Explain it. Vlogger plus wrestler equals Vessler. That's 15 seconds out of their life, which is now what? What is that? 1,500% more likely they'll remember it. Some math.
I like that. And hey, that means they'll check you out, see your wrestling and your vlogs at the same time. There you go. Promotion right there.
Yeah, and there's only one Vessler. I say this a lot. There's plenty of vloggers. There's a lot of them. Sammy, great vlogs, but he's not a Vessler. There's only one, and it's me.
I mean, speaking of wrestlers, there is technically another one, and
Mm,
it's TKO, Tyler. But would you say you're the best? Are you the best one?
well, I am the only Vessler. That's first and foremost. I wouldn't even consider TKO to be a real vlogger, a real content creator. I mean, the fact that we're calling this a clash of the content creators, for those listening who don't know, at Invictus Pro Wrestling on August 28th, I will be taking on TKO in what they are calling a clash of the content creators. I personally find that a bit insulting, because I'm a content creator. I'm a very loyal and respectable content creator, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. In professional wrestling, you think content creating? You think Jack. No one thinks TKO because he's not a content creator. He's just a guy who talks into his phone. At least how I see it. That's how I see it. That's how the Jack Pack sees it. I guarantee even the haters, and the haters suck. I guarantee even the haters see it that way. So there is no competition.
Ooh, so come at like Invictus on August 28th, got any like content creation planned for the match? I know he vlogged during his match the one time. Like, what's exactly gonna happen between the two of you?
Well, no matter what happens, it will go viral. That's impressive that he vlogged in his match that one time. I have vlogged in my match every single time. I do it every single match because I am the wrestler, one of one. But I'm not surprised that he did it that one time because the Jack Pack knows this. I told him about it on Twitter today. Those listening who aren't in the Jack Pack, don't worry, it's not too late to join. You can join right now. I learned what TKO actually stands for. It turns out that TKO stands for Tomlinson knockoff. So I'm not surprised that he vlogged in his match one time because I do it every time. And clearly, if you look at his content, he steals all of his ideas from me.
Ooh. I mean, you think you guys would be friends. I mean, all the content creation, the Spider-Man thing, like, hey, wait, would you ever tag team together? Like, you guys got some similarities.
Well, here maybe if we weren't wrestling, maybe. But listen, definitely not a tag team. That's never on the table. I already got my tag partner. His name's Dante. Maybe we'll talk about him. Maybe we won't. He's a frat star. I love him. No one's replacing Dante.
Well, speaking of technically like frat stars and Spider-Man, you did recently just graduate college, so congratulations on that. And I know we were talking about it before, the whole Spider-Man suit and stuff, but what was that like balancing wrestling and your college life at the same time?
It was incredible because it really forced me to learn like skills like time manage, and it forced me to like mature in different aspects and get a lot of different life experience all at once because it was like being a D1 athlete. It was in a different world. It was in a different environment. When you're a college athlete, you go to college and you play your sport, but you play it with people your age. You play it on the very same place that you live and go to class on. As opposed to me, I lived and went to class at college, but then when I wanted to play my sport, I'd have to travel for it. And the age gap is big. I mean, it's not as big as when I first started wrestling. Like when I first got into it, when I first started training at 15, the next youngest guy that I knew at the time was 22. I mean, that's a 7-year time difference. Now I'm 21. I'm seeing fellow 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds. I'm still the young guy in most places I go to, but I had to like level up in maturity to meet there. So I felt like it was basically being a Division I athlete, like kind of like, I don't want to say on steroids because that has a negative connotation to it, but that's like what it was. The experience was elevated. That's a better way to put it. The experience was elevated. But at times when it was actually happening, that's my thought looking back on it. When it was happening, oh man, it sucked at times. It was hard. I don't want this to sound bad, but it was almost like in 2020, like when everything like kind of shut down. Looking back on it, that was kind of like it was beneficial to me in a way. Because it kind of forced me to slow down because I don't know how to. I've always been like this, whether it's with wrestling or it's with content creating or it's with acting or it's with school or it's with work or whatever, like relationships. I am such an extremist to the point where I go 1,000% and I don't stop. I don't sleep. I really just dive headfirst into everything. Even if it's into concrete, I'm going to dive headfirst into it because that's just who I am. So having the world tell me, along with everyone else, not just me, but having the world tell me to stop and relax was kind of needed. Especially at that time, that was a tough time for me. Even before everything happened, I was going through it. So I'm glad that slowed me down.
So what did you major in when you were in school?
I majored in physical and health education. I actually have my diploma right here. This is like, it literally just sits here. I don't know it's right here. I got to get a frame for it so I can like put it up on the wall. Maybe when I do these podcasts, you'll see my history, all my wrestling accolades, but you'll also see I'm a scholar. But physical and health education, bachelor's of science, right here for Mr. Tomlinson, Mr. T.
So are we going to see you as like then a gym teacher, physical education teacher?
I mean, so that is what it would apparently seem. Right now we're chasing the dream of wrestling and acting and seeing where that takes me. But I did spend my last semester student teaching, and that was the best semester I had of college in my entire life. I mean, it was the longest semester because it was Monday through Friday, up every day at 6 in the morning, going until 5, because after school, I'd go to coach wrestling or I'd go to coach baseball. So I was constantly going, constantly surrounded by my students. And it was cool because I wasn't just carrying myself in a proper manner every day for my own benefit. It was for their benefit. I was trying to help them more than just teach them, hey, this is how many calories are in a gram of fat, or hey, this is how you throw a ball. It was about teaching them real life skills to make them better inside and outside of the gymnasium and or classroom, to make them better human beings after school's done. Because as much as like I'm a teacher and I have my degree in education, I value the education system, like, does knowing the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell really help you in life? I don't know. I don't know. It's never come up in my life. It never has. I mean, is reading every single William Shakespeare play ever really going to help you? I love Shakespeare. I do. I've acted in many Shakespeare plays. I think they're fantastic. The common person, the average person, I don't think it helps them. But learning how to communicate with others, learning how to listen, learning how to be a part of a team and achieve a common goal, being respectful in your teacher, not just because it's a teacher, but because respect and is a part of life, asking questions, time management skills, studying skills. I could go on. It was, to me, it stretched beyond the textbook.
And that's very well put. I love like how you said that, and you could tell you're very, very passionate about what you do outside of wrestling. When your students find out you're a wrestler, do they get excited? Like, what's their reactions usually?
They were the best. I mean, I was nervous that this would be like when this would come up, because it was inevitable. I'm very present in social media, and I do it in such a manner that it is appropriate for my students to watch. But to me, I always thought it was just something that made me relatable with my students. It made them trust me more. It made them know that I understand what they're going through in the world that they're living in a lot better. They were incredible about it. I mean, some of them took it a bit too far. I mean, towards the end of my time student teaching, I was no longer Mr. Tomlinson. I was Mr. Holland, because they know I like Spider-Man. So some of them called Mr. Holland. But like, it was all in good fun. I had the most amazing students ever. I mean, I brought the title when at the time I was the Creative Pro Tag Team Champion. I brought that title in to show with all of them, and it was fantastic. They were incredible students. They made that the best time in college, and I was very spoiled with my cooperating teacher, who's basically your mentor that you spend student teaching with. They were both. I had two separate gentlemen. They were awesome. They were class acts, phenomenal teachers, and really good like father figures.
So, you were speaking before about, your Creative Pro Tag Team Championship, your VPW Championship, but like when you were with Creative Pro, oh, there it is. Oh, there's the championship. um, oh, there we go. Okay, bringing it into the frame. There you go. Champ things. But as when you were with Creative Pro, we see you with like Matt Cardona. What's it like actually working with Matt Cardona?
Matt, sorry, I'll be honest, I missed the question because you said Matt and my mind just went, this guy. What was the exact question for Matt?
So what's it like, actually working with Matt Cardona?
Well, for starters, he gets to join the shelf. That's the first thing he gets. This is my I'll answer your question, but I just feel like talking about it. I'm not a massive figure collector. That's not like who I am. I could never go like this limited edition ringside collectible. Look at I can't do that. I don't know that stuff. But because I was trained by Brian Myers at Creative Pro, I do have an appreciation for figures and the art form that comes with them. So I decided to do this thing where I collect figures of guys that I wrestle. So if I wrestle you and you have a figure, I get it. So we have a bunch up here. We could talk about a million different stories just from these figures alone. But we do have Matt here because I did wrestle Matt. I wrestled the entire Major Pod family. It was at Cap Intoxication. This was back in, I want to say it was either January or February of this year. And it was myself, my tag partner, Dante Drago, and our other faction member, Eric James. We took on Major Pod, which consisted of Brian Myers, Smart Mark Sterling, and Matt Cardona. He was at one point in time my favorite wrestler. He was my once upon a time hero. And guess what, kids? never meet your heroes, because that match did not end well for me, Dante, or especially Eric, because they cheated. Hashtag Major Pod cheated. And it was a bad night. It was a very bad night. I was so excited. I was going to wrestle my childhood hero, and then he cheated. Not cool.
But Jack, I think you're missing somebody from that family, and it's, Matt Cardona's wife, Chelsea Green, fellow wrestler, and
she's a gem. She's a gem.
Gem.
Only reason I still like Matt even a little bit is because Chelsea is just amazing. She is so beautiful, both inside and outside. I love her. So if she sees something in him, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, coming up soon, GCW, Atlantic City, they're renewing their vows. You got any plans to be there at all? Were you invited? You gonna crash? Like, what's the idea here?
Crashing would be a good vlog idea. That was pretty smart. I might have to do that. I was not invited. I was not invited. I'm very saddened by that. I might have to hit him up later and say, Matt, why was I not invited to the renewal of your vows? But I wasn't invited to the wedding either. It's probably because he cheated in that match. Major Pod cheated.
Tea.
Right. Actually, good tea.
But I mean, I don't know here. So I know you like Chelsea, but like, let's see later down the road, could we ever see a mixed tag match between, the Cardonas versus you and who? Who would it be?
Oh, I really love that question. Oh, that gets me. I'd have to think about that one, because damn, whenever people ask about Cardona, it's always like the same thing. That's new. I like that one. So I think I got to say this. Any match that consists of myself and Matt Cardona, the one thing that is really, really always going to be there is whenever Matt sees me outside the ring or sees my posts on social media, he's always going to be like, oh, look, this kid was once my biggest fan, probably still is. But then when I'm staring across from him in the squared circle, now he's seeing me. I got the good tights on. I got the tan. I'm looking jacked, pun intended. And he's going, oh man, this kid's like an upgraded version of me. And it's like a wake up moment that this kid is the future, which probably scares him into thinking that he's just now a thing of the past. So going back to your question, if I had to have a partner, oh man, women's wrestling is fantastic today. I mean, there's so many phenomenal choices. I mean, Chris Statlander is my sister. I don't like haters, but I do like Jamie. So Jamie Hayter would be a great option as well. But if I'm going against Matt, I want to really drill into his head that I'm the future. So I'd have to pick someone who could help with that. So I think I'm going to go with, future. I'm going to go with NXT UK star Stevie Turner, because she is 4-dimensional. And when you see her wrestling, you're watching wrestling into the future. So if it's Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green in a mixed tag match against me and a partner of my choosing, I'm going with Stevie Turner. I'm picking Stevie.
Very good choice, but throwing out some good names. So, hopefully it'll happen one day.
I hope so. I mean, Stevie's over in London. So, but if I guarantee there's some promotion over in London that would see this happening. I could do that. That'd be really cool.
Oh, definitely. That would be super cool.
I would love that. Stevie, what do you say? Let's team.
His DMs are open. Just go. Just go ahead and do it.
You're thinking. We're manifesting it right here. We're putting it out.
We'll put it out into the universe. All the good energy, all the good vibes. Speaking of podcasts, however, obviously, like we were saying, Matt Cardona has a podcast. And I mean, you were also on one with Barstool Sports, which I thought that's super cool. Like, what was it like being in their offices and like doing all that kind of stuff with the wrestling podcast?
That was, to me, that was one of the coolest experiences of my life. That's like a top 10, like, best moment in my life. Never mind just top 10 in wrestling, like top 10 in life. Because Barstool is like, it's been dominant in my life for a long time, because it's so like present on social media. And especially when I was in like middle school and high school, more so high school, it was like, oh, like, bro, this is gonna go on Barstool was like a thing that went on.
Yeah.
And then Saturdays Are for the Boys became like this really big, like, popular thing, and they had merch for it. So it was so crazy. And when wrestling came out, I was like, I gotta get on this. So I hit them up once. They left me on red. They ignored me. Hit them up a second time. They said, yeah, we'll see, basically saying no. Then I hit them up a third time. And it was almost like, all right, we got to get this kid off our back. Like, let's just say yes. So they said yes. And when I'm heading into the city for it, I was like, there's no way I'm going to the actual Barstool. And then I walk in, and it's like everything you see in like their TikToks. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And it was so surreal that I was there. It felt like there's like, I have these big dreams in life in like content creating it to be this almost larger than life figure, to say the least. And being in such a larger than life atmosphere, I didn't feel out of place. I kind of felt like I belonged there, which was like a good sign to me that like whether it happens today, tomorrow, or 5 years from now, when it does happen, I will be calm and comfortable in my element. It was so cool because when I got there and I'm waiting for the podcast to start, I'm basically just like talking to like the producer of wrestling, and I'm like asking him questions, and he's like, yeah, yesterday we had Mark Wahlberg in here, and now I'm like upset because I love Mark Wahlberg. So like we couldn't have done this 24 hours earlier. Judd Apatow, who the director, he was there while I was there. I was having my conversation. He was standing like right next to me. We didn't really talk. I think we made like eye contact and like gave like the head nod. But it was so cool. And then the podcast started, and I love the feel of what they have going on there. They kind of just walk in and they like ask you a couple questions to get to know you, and they basically are like, all right, let's have fun. You have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want the world to know about you, let's hear it. And it was great. And we talked about everything. It was so much fun.
That sounds super cool. And oh my God, only if you got to be with Mark Wahlberg, that would have been something.
That would have been amazing. But like, honestly, I couldn't trade the experience, because when it was done, you would expect them to be like, all right, hit the road. But they weren't. They're like, all right, you want us to show you around now? We'll give you a tour of the place. They said, like, you film TikToks. You want to film TikToks here so you can get like the logo in the back. Like, they were so incredible to me. And it's actually great because I had applied to be a Barstool athlete. Because that was something I wanted to do. But there was no option for professional wrestling. It's for collegiate athletes only if you play a sport in college. So I kind of like said I was a wrestler in college, and then I wrote in the like comments section, like, I'm not actually a Division I wrestler. I'm a professional wrestler. I have experience wrestling with WWE and AEW, thinking someone would see that and go, oh, cool. But looking back on it, they probably just read, I'm not actually a Division I wrestler. And they're like, okay, goodbye. So it was like the next best thing. It was better then. I couldn't be a Barstool athlete. So while I'm on campus and all these people are walking around wearing their Barstool athlete, like hoodies and joggers, and I'm just, walking into the Barstool headquarters being on one of their podcasts. So who really won?
I mean, did you run into David Portnoy himself at all? See him there?
He wasn't there. That was one of the first questions I asked. I said, hey, is Dave Portnoy here? I don't expect to talk to him, but I wanted to see him. He wasn't there. And then my follow-up question was, is Josh Richards here? Because they do their podcast, the BFS.
Yeah, the Best Friends, yeah.
So I really wanted to meet one of them. Neither one of them were there. And at the time, I didn't know Bree was also hosting the podcast with them, so I didn't even check to see if Bree was there.
Oh my God, that would have been so insane if you got to meet them there. Like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine you would have been on the BFS podcast too? Like, no big deal.
That would be incredible. Because I've seen a lot of like stuff with Josh Richards, like his interviews. Like, never mind, like, oh, we're both like do TikTok and stuff and we're similar in age. Like, just the way he speaks and the way he articulates things, I could see me and him vibing and getting along very well. And I would think it would be really cool to like not only talk to him, but to pick his brain. So I would have been so excited for that.
So like another, we're throwing in so many people that do like podcasting and sports and stuff. And I know you're probably going to like this question. So another guy that does podcasting who just recently signed a WWE contract, Logan Paul, how are you feeling about that? Him being in WWE now?
I think that's fantastic. Logan Paul is like literally the world's greatest entertainer. There might be no one better. The only thing about it that I don't necessarily like is for years, from like 2016 to 2021, everyone hated Logan Paul. Everyone was booing him left and right, sometimes for good reason, other times just because he's Logan Paul. And all like my friends in wrestling or friends in like school would like give me some for like liking him, for supporting him, for watching the vlogs, watching the podcast, for, doing vlogs in tribute to him. And they would get like annoyed at me. And then this guy wrestles at WrestleMania. He has one WrestleMania match and suddenly everybody likes him. And it's like, come on. I liked him. I liked him first. Stop. I think it's great.
Now, would you rather team up with him, or would you rather face him?
Oh gosh, I want to say team up. No, no, no. I'm gonna say face him because history shows with Logan, when you face him, you end up forming a successful drink company with him. So if I face him, we wrestle, we hash out whatever we got, and then fast forward a year, maybe we won't have Prime, but maybe we'll have some other like beverage company together, or maybe we'll do like a food company or something company.
Do a whole thing of like vlog equipment or something. Some with like, I think with videos or something, because you guys like have that together. So
Really cool. I would just love to be on Impulsive. I have like life achievement goals. To be on Impulsive is one of them, and to wrestle at WrestleMania is also one of them. So he's living my dream.
so like you were saying, like we were talking about WWE, AEW, how you said you put it in with the Barstool, sports athlete, and you've gotten to wrestle with them like what within the past year. So what's that feeling like, being at like the top two companies and
Yeah.
getting to wrestle there and be there and like just all of that?
It's fantastic. It's so amazing because when you get there, you see how everything runs, and not every question you have is answered, but a lot of them get answered. And if you're smart, if you're respectful about where you are, you don't overstep your boundaries, but you kind of take in everything that's going on, you can take that back to the independent scene, and it makes you a better wrestler. It makes you learn how to work a crowd, how to work a camera, how to do all this stuff. And then on a personal level, as like just standing in that ring, and whether you're getting your rear end handed to you or you're waiting for them to come in on their entrance because you're preloaded, you just take a second. And I look around and I see the thousands of people here, and I see the logo on the turnbuckle, and I'm like, it's the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I just am ecstatic. I'm so grateful that I'm able to be there and have those opportunities. And I hope down the line I get even more and I get bigger, because like I owe a lot of my legitimacy as a performer, as a wrestler, to just the simple fact that I've had 2 matches with WWE, and then I had 1 match with AEW, and that maybe this is just me tooting my own horn. I didn't just leave it there. It wasn't like I have this 1 match and then I post, oh, such a great thing that I got to wrestle, which it was. It was like, okay, how do I expand on this? So I make a vlog, then I make 100 TikToks, and now you just keep pushing it out. And I think it's made people see that I'm serious about creating content. I respect this industry, and I love telling a story. And if you could tell, I mean, I've been telling the make it to WWE story for ever since I was 19. I was 18 when I wrestled on Raw. I'm 21 now, and I'm still telling that story, and it hasn't lost interest yet. So,
Was there anybody at like WWE or AEW that like gave you really good advice that you were with at all?
oh, yes, yes, definitely. Right before I wrestled on 205 Live, as I'm standing in Gorilla, Xavier Woods came up to me, and my tights said, are you subscribed on them? So he comes up to me, he goes, hey, I know you're about to go out, and I don't mean to distract you, which I thought was so respectful that he said that. Because I'm going out and for like wrestle for 2 minutes. It's not like I have this boatload of stuff to memorize. So that was like really, really nice. And he goes, but I noticed that your tights say, are you subscribed? Like, are you, like, what's the deal with that? So are you a YouTuber? And him and I, for like 4 minutes right before I go out, he's basically like talking to me about this, and we're just talking YouTube and talking views, and because he has his channel up, up, down, down, and it was just so cool. He was so respectful. Right after that, I am going out to the ring for that very match, and right before me, I can't remember who wrestled, but Brian Kendrick was being the manager to whoever was wrestling, and he's coming up the ramp, I'm going down the ramp, and I'm like sprinting behind the referee because I have to keep up with him, so I'm in the ring before the lights come on. And Brian Kendrick stops me, and instantly my first reaction is, I'm not going to be in the ring when the lights come up. Everyone's going to be so mad at me. I'm never being invited back. And so I'm instantly terrified, and all these thoughts are going through my head. And he stops me, and I can't remember word for word what he said, but I do remember a very clear, make sure you take it all in, and good luck out there. You're going to do great. And I got that nice little pat, like brother pat. And I was like, whoa, that was so freaking nice. Like, he doesn't know me through a hole in the wall. I'm just a random indie guy. They come and go every week. So that was so amazing that he did that for me. You know, I got advice from Brian, who was my trainer. He was Kurt Hawkins. He was still with them at the time. He gave me advice before I went out. VSK, who is who I teamed with right before I went out on Raw. He's who I teamed with on Raw right before we went out. He stopped me because he could see I was getting like jittery and antsy because I'm 18 years old about to wrestle on national television. I was a little freaked. And he was like, take a deep breath, take it all. I know you want to take it all in, but just know you wouldn't be here if you weren't ready for it. Never mind your age, never mind your size. Like, you would not be here if I didn't think you could handle this. So just go out there and do what you can do. And that was so like calming because VSK helped train me. My first day of training was VSK, learning how to lock up, how to chain wrestle, how to run the ropes, how to take a tackle, everything, footwork. All my fundamentals come from VSK. So to have someone that I look up to, arguably more than almost anyone in wrestling, just say I wouldn't have you here if you weren't ready for it, meant a lot to me. So I was very fortunate. Had a lot of really good mentors.
Already done like so much the beginning of this year, first half of this year, and we still got what 5-6 months left of 2022 to go. What else do you want to accomplish within this year? What promotions do you want to work for? What wrestlers do you want to work with?
Yeah, so right now, my first goal is to get back at Max Caster because he assaulted me. I don't know if anyone here saw it. There was a part of Cap the Grand Stage where he decided to come out with a chain and punch me in the face. It has crippled me to a point of no end where I don't know how I'm going to wrestle this Sunday at the Shook Roof Funfair for Creative Pro Wrestling. I'm going to try to, but I don't know if I can. So that's definitely on the table. Last time I was supposed to wrestle at Victory Pro Wrestling to make my first title defense, Mike Anthony jumped me with a chair and he assaulted me with a chair. People are just assaulting me left and right. I don't know what's going on there. Me and the Jack Pack got to get to the bottom of that, but I'm not a detective. I'm just a vlogger. So who knows if we ever will. So definitely that. Like we said earlier, debuting for Invictus. Hopefully FWF comes back. FWF 4 is happening. So I want to be a part of that as well. I want to get as many independent promotions as I can in the Northeast. Branching out to the Midwest, hopefully very, very soon. Dante and I want to be a premier tag team in independent wrestling. So that's a goal of mine, obviously, to get back to AEW and WWE. I wrestled on AEW Dark. It was a tag match, but it was me. I would love to wrestle on AEW Dark with Dante. I think that'd be absolutely incredible if we could do that together, because it would make that moment so much better to have my best friend and my tag partner with me. And I've always, I mean, WWE and AEW, they're the pinnacle, but I've always had a soft spot for Ring of Honor. I would love to be in an ROH ring, especially with this revamp going on. Those are just some of the goals that I have for wrestling.
I mean, all is possible. You never know.
I totally agree. I mean, all the things, I don't know how to say this humbly. There's no way to put this humbly, but like all the things I've accomplished, wrestling for WWE at 18, AEW at 21, my tag title and my singles title. I mean, being on Barstool, like wrestling Matt, who was once my childhood hero. It's almost impossible to actually fathom this happening at such a young age, if happening ever at all. I mean, I'm 21 and I have over 160,000 loyal Jack Pack members across all social media platforms. I mean, I have over tens of millions of views across all social media platforms. The part that I don't know how to say humbly is, damn, I've done a lot.
Yeah, it's like this surreal feeling. You've done a lot and you're like, you just can't believe it. You're like, oh my God, I've done all this and I'm this age. Same.
Yeah, it's wild. And I've taken some time to like look at analytics and see where my views lie on TikTok. And there's a decent, only 59% of my views on TikTok come from the United States. I mean, that leaves 41% of the rest of the world. It's really surreal and it's humbling. It's on a small scale. And I like to say that I'm just getting warmed up because I really do believe that. But it's a good indicator that things are going well and this dream is possible. It can be a reality. It's hard, but it could be.
Now, speaking of TikTok, you seem to love TikTok a lot, as I've seen your profile before. So what's like your favorite TikTok video you've ever made?
I have 3 that are coming to mind right now. I kind of look at my TikTok career in like stages. So there was the initial stage, which was the viral blow up stage, I like to call it, where in the first 6 months, I got 100,000 followers. My favorite videos probably come from there. There's one where I walk up to a girl and I put my leg up on the chair and I say, hey, and she kicks out the chair and I kind of eat the table. So that one was sad. My friend was so happy to volunteer to be that girl. There's another one where I'm walking and my friend goes, hey, Jack, the floor is commitment. And I like jump up on a balcony and I like pull myself up. And then there's another one. This is like an idea that I had. I don't know if I'm the only one to ever do it. You know, it's so hard. There's billions of videos out there. It was just a video of me showering. Like, oh, well, I'm in the shower. It's not a video of me showering. I'm wearing a bathing suit. So I won't take a deep breath there. But then you hear the door shut. And I go, oh, someone must be home. And that's supposed to indicate that's how normal people would respond to that. And then it goes how I would respond to that. And I'm just still, you know, in the shower, putting some soap on, the door slams, and I freak out. And I'm like, someone's in the house. They're murdering my family. I'm going to have to fight this killer naked. And like I grab like a razor, like to defend myself. And it's so stupid. It's so TikTok, to say the least. I love that video. I love it. And that was from the viral stage of Jack. And then I kind of stopped making TikToks for a little bit. This is going back to the 2020 time period where Jack was me. Why do I keep talking about myself in the third person? Where I was just making these, like, looking back on it, dumb decisions, but they helped me grow. So I took some time off. When I came back, I was super emotional. And so I wanted to be like super motivational and super religious. And I am very in touch with my faith. I do believe in God. So I made a lot of videos about it, but like, it was so different. It went from viral, goofy skits, sometimes about Tom Holland, to motivational speaking. And I'm not a motivational speaker. That'd be really cool if one day I could be, but I'm not. And it was not coming off genuine or natural because I wasn't in a motivational place. I was in a very poor place and I was trying to force it to make myself feel better. And that definitely showed through the lens. So views decided to tank. Followers went down, everything went down. And then we went to the revamp era, which is kind of where I'm in right now. I'm probably on the back end. I think I'm on the verge of hitting a new stride, I think. And I basically decided, adapt my content. I can make all these viral videos that play into the trends and the popular songs and like the dances, and I can do stuff that will get views because Addison Rae approves it, or, you know, Bryce Hall's talking about it, right? So I could do all that. But then I also can talk about things that I love, which includes Marvel and Star Wars and Harry Potter and Stranger Things and movies in general. And then I could post workout clips. I realized, wait a second, I'm a professional wrestler. I gear my entire YouTube channel to being a wrestler, but most of my followers are on TikTok. So let's gear my TikTok towards wrestling. Let's like revamp it. So now I make a lot of videos geared around wrestling. So as opposed to 2-3 years ago, to make a short answer really, really long, as opposed to 2 years ago where I was just making 3-4 videos a week and they would just be like viral trends. Now what I'm doing is I'm making 3-4 videos a day. I can afford to make those viral trends. I can also afford to make the videos of things that I love and I'm interested in, with movies and Marvel and all that fun stuff. But then I can also make videos about wrestling. So now I'm hitting multiple different communities at once, and I'm basically have a much bigger outreach, a bigger outpour. Especially on TikTok, it's incredible because your For You page, you just keep swiping. Like sometimes with Instagram and stories, like if someone posts 100 times, it might be annoying, but on TikTok, it's different. If you keep seeing them, you're like, well, this person is all over my For You page. It's like an accomplishment. So I kind of, what was the question was what my favorite TikTok was. That's where it came from. But it brings me so much joy making TikToks. It's great. And my content is so diverse. It's great.
And that's the best part about it. You can make it whatever you want, and it goes to like so many different parts of TikTok, like of, you know, food TikTok or whatever it might be. There's just like so much, and that's like what the cool part is. And you just find so many people that enjoy the same thing you do. What is like your favorite TikTok community that comes on your For You page?
Oh my gosh. My favorite that on my For You page. Oh, I love country music, so I get a lot of country people. So I keep seeing like my dream girl from Utah or like Montana there, because my dream girl's in like my For You page just keeps showing me, and like I'm not saying there's not one specific dream girl. It's like you like will sit there and go like, all right, if I could pick my write out my dream girl, who would it be? And then for some reason your phone knows exactly what you're saying. And then it shows it on my For You page. And they're always from like Montana or Utah or Tennessee. They're never from here. So it's so I mean country TikTok. I like movie TikTok. I like hearing movie reviews. I love watching wrestling TikTok, but that's mainly me. I pretty much am pro wrestling TikTok. I love love. This is great. I love talking about love. I love watching like those romantic TikToks. Like I'm a sucker for when that video is made by that one random middle schooler and it's like I hope you know what I'm talking about. These initials belong together.
Oh yeah, I've seen those on my For You page.
Yeah, and we believe it, let alone it's probably some 15-year-old kid who named Jack who has a crush on a girl named Sadie so in his class. So he made this one little clip going, "Oh, J and S belong together." And then I see it and I'm like, "Oh my gosh. S, who is S?" Like
My favorites are the ones with the I forget what the sound is. And like the girl's like, "Oh, is he proposing or are we really going to this dinner? Or are we doing like something?" And that's always my favorite ones to see. And then they're in the comment section like, "Well, like did you get the ring?" And then the next video, she has the ring on her finger.
yes,
Those are my favorite.
yeah. There's so many people can say whatever they want about social media and how it's had a negative effect. Like, yeah, there are parts of it that are bad, and you know, it brings out the keyboard warriors and the trolls. But like, we don't know this person that you just described through a hole in the wall, but we got joy out of knowing that they're happy and something. And I think that's beautiful. You can, if done right, social media is the most powerful tool in the world.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. It like, of course, there is the negative sides to having it, but at the same time, there's so many positives. How to like reach other people, and you make like so many new friends. Like you just like, it's such a great thing at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So my final question for you, it's always a fun question I love to leave my interviews with. What's your
Okay.
favorite thing to do in the summertime?
My favorite thing to do in the summer. Ooh, the I will say recently I started swimming because I'm going through a bit of some knee pain right now. So I try and get in the pool because it takes the pressure off and I can stretch it out. So I love that. This isn't summer specific, but this summer I started auditioning for roles as an actor, and I've been acting since I was in elementary school. There's a very infamous photo of me as an Oompa Loompa, uh, and it's adorable. I was a cute kid. I'll say it here first. But I took a break in middle school because you know middle school it's not cool to be in theater, so I wasn't in it. Got back into it in high school, and then in my last 2 years of college, I attended an acting studio, and I've been taking classes for like 2 years now. And this summer, signed up for a casting website. I've been filming auditions and self tapes every single week, and I'm constantly submitting, probably sending in auditions for anywhere from 6 to 10 auditions every week. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. There's so much waiting. Like at least with like I know like with wrestling, if you like reach out to a promoter and you present yourself, like they may never get back to you, but because of Facebook Messenger, you'll see like their little profile icon, so you'll at least know if they read.
Yeah.
Or like, maybe you have friends that will bring you to their show that they're booked on, and you get to meet the promoter and you shake their hand, and you can kind of get a gauge on where they are based on the conversation. Do they want me? Do they not want me? With this, I just submit out this video, this audition, and if it could take like months. Like you hear all the time, like actors who are like Joe Keery, who's on Stranger Things. He was just on Jimmy Kimmel, and he said I auditioned for the role for Stranger Things. He auditioned for Jonathan. He ended up getting Steve, and he goes, I didn't hear anything for 3 months, so I forgot about it. Like I honestly completely forgot. So the waiting game it's got me a little antsy, but that's definitely been the best part of my summer. I love acting. I mean, that's the reason I love wrestling and I love content creating so much. I love above everything storytelling. Like my absolute happy place in this world is watching like good movies and good TV. I love just sitting down and enjoying it because it's a story. It takes you away from the troubles of life, um, and all the stresses that go into our day-to-day lives. And I would love to be able to be responsible for helping someone out of that stress and it's different. Like wrestling, there's such a physical aspect, and it's tough on your body, and there's the making towns part, and then there's always that your character is kind of, it's me. I am me. I am the wrestler. I am the TikToker. I am the Tom Holland of professional wrestling. I am the leader of the Jackpack. I'm just dialed up. But when I play a character, I'm not. I'm someone totally different. I mean, recently, ironically, I'm very glad about this, and sorry if I'm going on a long
No,
spiel.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, I had my first independent film recently. I got this part, and I was very excited about it. My friend connected me with the director, so thank you, Courtney, for that. That was her name, Courtney. She's a great stand-up comedian as well as an actress. So I got this one part. Coincidentally, the character's name is Jack. So I think that's hysterical that my first part ever is named Jack. But it wasn't me. I was playing this like kind of like I was pretty much playing Dante Drago. I was pretty much playing this like frat guy. You know, we're playing cards. I'm throwing, like, I don't want to give away too much because it hasn't come out yet. But it was so cool. It was like it's being someone else. And I get to do another one coming up in a couple weeks where I'm going to play someone totally different that is definitely not me. And I have ideas about how I want to approach it, but you never really know until you're in front of the camera and you're working with your scene partner and you're bouncing off of each other and the director's coming in and kind of giving you advice and what they think it should be, and you're collaborating. So I really don't know who that character is going to turn out to be. But it's different. It's so different, and I'm in love with it. I'm in love with acting. It's my passion.
It seems like, you know, you got a great thing going on with acting, wrestling. You have like a lot going on for yourself, and I wish you like the best of luck in whatever, you know, you do, because you are doing a lot and you got this.
Thank you, thank you. I don't got my sleep schedule in order. That is not good. Doing all this stuff has messed up my sleep schedule, but yeah, it keeps me busy, and I love everything I do. I probably should slow down at times, but what are you gonna do?
As long as you're doing what you love, that's the most important thing, I always say.
I agree. I will drink to that. Drink out of my Jack Tomlinson.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for joining me here today and having this interview with me. Could you tell the people where they can find you on social media if they haven't already?
Absolutely. I hope so, because I'm like basically the social media champion. But of course, you can find me on TikTok or Instagram. Both are at Jack Tomlinson 2000. You can find me on Twitter at Jack Tomlinson 00, or you can find me on YouTube at Jack Tomlinson Vlogs. And if you like this shirt or you like any of my other merchandise, you want to rep it, join the Jack Pack. That's at prowrestlingtees.com/JT Vlogs. And for all upcoming show days, any acting opportunities, any TikToks I'm posting, you got to follow all those accounts. That's where the updates are coming.
Now, everybody, you can find them all linked in the description below, as well as my social media. But I'm sure they were up on the screen somewhere here. But again, thank you to Jack for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on. I'm glad, again, we started by saying this. I'm going to end by saying this. I am so glad we finally got this going. You are fantastic. This was one of my maybe my favorite conversation I've ever had in a podcast, and I really hope we do this again someday. This is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. We'll have to do hopefully an in-person one. We're both up in the Northeast, so I'm sure our paths will cross at some point.
Fantastic. I hope so.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.